Hello, I'm Chris Hartwell, and welcome to The Heartbeat. Today we're going to be talking about David Green's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Out of the Shadows. Join me, won't you? So, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Out of the Shadows picks up pretty much where the 2014 reboot left off, that being with the villainous Shredder behind bars, and all of our favorite turtles growing in strength and power each day. At the same time, though, they're also kind of growing in their frustration as they become more and more aware that they'll never really be able to be fully recognized for all of their heroism. A heroism that is once again required of them when the mad scientist Baxter Stockman not only releases Shredder, but also inadvertently allies himself with the nefarious alien Krang. And so, all of our favorite reptilian brothers must once again, along with their old friend April O'Neil and newcomer Casey Jones, team up to take down the bad guys and save the day. And yes, it is as ridiculous as it sounds, and yes, I did somehow find myself liking this film a lot more than I thought I would going in. Because in a way, this film, or at least 70 to 80% of it, is kind of what I foolishly hope for when I go and see the latest Transformers film or a Roland Emmerich flick. Just something that's unapologetically silly, boisterous, and light. And in that way, this film did resolve one of my primary issues with the 2014 reboot, that just being this need to be cool and to be relevant and to cater to the exact same demographic that flocks out to see Transformers, Avengers, and Batman v Superman, while at the same time still trying to contain that same sort of lightness and quirk found in a 90s children's cartoon. And connected to that, I was reminded while watching this film's rather childish, over-the-top river action sequence of Peter Jackson's second Hobbit film, The Desolation of Smaug, which also features some serious whitewater shenanigans. But while on that film, the over-the-top choreography and ridiculous gags were never quite able to be reconciled to that film's otherwise grounded presentation of that world, on Out of the Shadows, all of that lunacy kind of felt right at home. And I really felt like I saw that from the top down, from the editing, which often included these zany speed ramps and the occasional comedically placed title card, to the really bright, vibrant cinematography, which really stood in pleasant contrast to the much more desaturated, monochromatic look that we've come accustomed to seeing in many blockbusters these days, to the larger-than-life acting and characterization, which surprisingly was probably one of the most enjoyable aspects of the film for me. Not just that those performances, especially from the Turtles, were consistently and enjoyably cartoony, but that they were handled with a surprising level of sincerity and earnestness, especially when it came to the overarching theme of Out of the Shadows. Now, let me be clear, sincere or not, the level of nuance, subtlety, or complexity when it came to the writing of that theme really was little to none, and its growth and evolution were never all that well structured, the brothers often acting one way towards one another in one scene, only to inexplicably switch it up in the next. But again, unlike its predecessor, it never tried to be subtle, nuanced, or complex, really saving me from watching any sort of awkward failures. But more importantly, comparing this film to David Green's first feature film, Earth to Echo, even with mediocre child performances or fairly forgettable writing, there was still a level of sincerity, earnestness, and dedication to a specific style and tone that held that film together. And neither there nor on Out of the Shadows did Green once sarcastically wink at the camera or allude in any way that he was ashamed that he was making just a children's action film. Instead, he embraced each scene just for what it was, seeking to make the most of the little nuggets of truth, no matter how small, found in these characters and their relationships. And in so doing, in the smallest of ways, reflecting our relationships with our friends and family, relationships filled with the same kinds of disagreements and connections, difficulty and loyalty. Of course, even in the lightest of children's fare, there is a line, and I can't deny how completely ludicrous and boring Krang and Shredder were, respectively. So even as I did adhere to the fun, over-the-top, cartoony tone, their henchmen Beat Bop and Rocksteady alone proved that they still could have easily been infused with a lot more motivating backstory, or at least some more fun action. And then there were the human characters, one of whom was one of the primary tonal and consistent characters from the first film, that being April O'Neil, played by Megan Fox, whose role was certainly reduced this go-around, but still managed to detract from the kid-friendly tone. Though, honestly, at this point, I kind of just feel bad for the girl. I mean, on this film specifically, beyond being given little more than exposition to deliver, it's as if she's contractually obligated to, in every one of her movies, have at least one scene where the camera just ogles her body, which is just one of those stupid, albeit kind of unavoidable byproducts of a consumer society. We continue to throw money at films that objectify Megan Fox, then studios will continue to give us films that objectify Megan Fox. Though at the same time, O'Neil wasn't the only unfortunate human character in the film. I really thought that Stephen Amell's Casey Jones was just all over the place, neither subtle or nuanced enough to really be taken seriously, nor heightened enough to really be all that much fun, which, like Jesse Eisenberg's performance in Batman v Superman, really came from poor direction, and really does show that even a solid actor giving a pretty good performance can still still fall completely flat in a film if they're guided the wrong direction. Another one of the tonally inconsistent holdovers from the first film was just the score provided by Mr. Steve Jablonsky, who's worked on every single Michael Bay film from 2005's The Island onward. And though he is far from a horrible composer, and there have been certain tracks that he's done on different films that I have really enjoyed, for a film like this one that again has this kind of childish fun tone, his very cool modern Michael Bay sound just didn't complement it or add anything to it. So to close things out, follow me for a moment on a rather silly analogy. When I was younger, I did rather enjoy cotton candy, and no, it's not because it was numerous in flavor or had any sort of actual nutritional value. It was just sweet and came in bright, fun colors. Now, flash forward about 20 years from that, and imagine that the cotton candy company has announced that they're putting out a brand new 2016 line of cotton candy. Wouldn't it be slightly ridiculous of me to expect that that cotton candy had grown and matured with me and was somehow going to be accommodating my grown-up palate and desire for nutritional food? And on the other side of that, wouldn't it also be a bit risky for the cotton candy company to listen to that desire from me and put out, say, a nice, healthy, juicy steak inside their cotton candy packaging? And yes, ridiculous, I know, but all this to say, was this film perfect? Of course not. Have better children's films been made? Absolutely. But did it, though, do a solid job repackaging a 90s cartoon, choosing to cater to the same demographic it catered to back when it first came out? I think so. I, for one, just appreciate when a film knows what it is, and it is that unashamedly, even if that film is cotton candy. Sweet, colorful, and just a little bit tummy ache inducing. And for all these reasons, I'm going to give this film a rather surprising 3 out of 5. It's certainly not for everyone, I guarantee that, but I personally did walk out with a big old silly smile on my face. But comment below and let me know what you guys thought, especially you Ninja Turtle film fans out there. What did you guys think of the film? How did it compare to the 2014 film? How did it compare to the 90s film? How did it compare to the cartoon? Definitely comment below and let me know. Also, please do subscribe. I'm going to continue to review films and television on this channel, and I would love for you to stay up to date on all of those things. But for now, I'm Chris Hartwell. This is The Heartbeat. Thank you for joining me.